I need a screensaver. It's so bad. Ready?
We're ready now.
We're ready. Okay, great, thanks. All righty. Good evening. Welcome to our regular school board meeting for the month of December 1st, if you can believe that, 2022. We will begin by introducing board members, beginning over here.
Jim Lothridge.
Diane Potter,
Alyssa Tracy.
Sophia Matthew,
Megan Carlson.
Becky Fless.
Tony Veep. Chris McWallen.
Alyssa Henderson. Nicole Medore.
Jack Pitteroff.
Teresa Garrett,
Administrative staff. Pat Hopkins, Superintendent. Pittston Randolph School.
Vicki Duguay, Principal at Riverview Community School.
Alicia Morris, Director of Special Services. Katie Gould, Principal at Helen Thompson School.
That's not true.
Everybody is somebody.
Director of Adult Education.
Andrea Dish, Business Manager.
Nate Stubbert, Athletic Director.
Chad Kempton, High School Principal.
Gabe Dostie, Director of Operations.
Angela Hardy, Director of Cricket Curriculum.
Sarah Sims, Principal at Gardner Regional Middle School.
Thank you all. And I'm guessing that didn't have the effect that you wanted it to, and I'm so sorry. You really are somebody. And thank you for being here tonight. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a full room tonight. Okay, public comment for items on or off of the agenda. Is there anyone here for that purpose or for the other purpose that is on the agenda? Hearing none, we will proceed. Prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed.
yes, I just have a couple small changes. Under recognition and celebrations, I'd like to add Sean Jimenez, the U.S. Senate Youth Program. On the next page, H, under correspondence, we have a resignation letter from Lori Babino, who is the art teacher at Laura E. Richards School and Helen Thompson School, and she is resigning effective January 26th. On the last page, under general information, Lisa Levitt, the volunteer drama club, it says Gardner Area High School. That was just for Gardner Regional Middle School. And we added Steve Lorette for the musical stipend position at Gardner Area High School. And then under my report, we will give you an update on the situation at Helen Thompson. And I will give you an update on school resource officer.
Motion to approve agenda as altered.
So moved.
Moved by Tony, second by Jim. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Let's see, approval of minutes of the previous meetings of the regular school board meeting November 3rd and the special board meeting on November 7th. Motion to approve. Moved by Diane, second by Jack. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Presentation, Community Connections, Tigers Create.
Yes, so are you all set up? Are you all set, Terry? Okay.
Oh, and you moved the podium.
Yeah, move the podium to make it
Wow.
easier to access technology. But
Sure.
really pleased tonight to welcome Deborah Butterfield. You all know Deborah, I believe. She is our librarian at the high school. And with her, she has Patricia Welton. And you know Patricia from HCCA. And they're here tonight to present the Community Connections Tiger Creates. It's it's a relationship that they have developed with the Gardner Public Library that's really exciting. And so they're here to share their program, their experience, and I'm really pleased to see that she brought some students with her as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for your patience, and once again, amazing Terry McGuire helping out technology. So thank you so much, and I'll be introducing our students who are here as well in just a little bit. I really appreciate the invitation from Superintendent Hopkins. Our district libraries and district librarians promote connection and curiosity. And during COVID, I personally really wondered, how can we keep that momentum going with our libraries? So we started Tigers Create, and our students and staff met virtually to share tree houses that were being built, cooking demonstrations, musical performances. I think Superintendent Hopkins was there one day when we had some parrots being introduced as well. So it was clear that we missed each other and we really needed each other. When we turned back from COVID, Patricia Buck-Welton reached out to me and said, "What do you need?" And I said, "We really need some help with mental health resources." And she said, "I have an idea. How about we create a tulip garden?" And so I went to Principal Kempton and I said, "Could we create a garden?" He's like, "Sure, what can I do to help?" And so on a Saturday, we had about 300 students, not 300 students, excuse me, 300 bulbs planted with these students, and we had musical performances. We had students speaking about their mental health challenges and journey. We shed tears. It was amazing. And in the spring, we were able to enjoy those tulips. Maybe you noticed them as well. And then from that event, we had a Find Your Good event with Patricia Buck-Welton helping meet with me several times after Principal Kempton said that we could do this event and how can I help, which is a reoccurring theme. So Patricia, could you please explain to everyone about the Red Ribbon Week that was celebrated at the high school and middle school and what we did to get this going?
Sure. Red Ribbon Week is a national observance of making better choices, showing kids that there are other things that they can do. And so in the middle school, we had actually 3 students that came to the middle school and did the vaping presentation to the kids. So that was a hit. We also had, if you noticed on 92 Moose and 98.5, we had JMG kids who did PSAs that went all the way out of the radio waves, and they had a blast doing that. 92 Moose came right to the school and we had the kids record at the JMG office. We had decorations all throughout the school. And so that was what we did at middle school. But with the community engagement show that we did for the high school, Find Your Good was to try to get the kids to really think about what makes them happy, what makes them want to do, get up in the morning and so we had a bulletin board at the library and they brought in pictures of the things, pets and outside activities. But also, as I told you a couple of months ago, the MIAS data shows us that 50% of our kids do not feel that their community think they matter. So we're working on that. So by doing the event at the high school library, we had community members come in, and there were about 15 community members that came in and did different activities with the kids. From here, you see Ramsey from the Church of Life came in. He's a videographer, and he showed the kids how to do that. And we had a photographer, we had tie-dyeing, we had Kennebec Land Trust, we had wool tacking. We had all sorts of different activities for the kids. And it just sort of made it even more for them to go down to the library and do the activities on Thursday afternoons. And now they are asking Deb when we're going to do it again. So yes. I think that they enjoyed it.
And this happened during Parent-Teacher Conference Day. We had 35 students that stayed for this event. And when it was time to put the pizza out, I have a loud librarian voice in that big library. And I said, "Okay, pizza's ready." And only 5 or 6 students came over. They were in the flow, in the zone of being with these community guests. And so many said to me, "I cannot believe how much passion these people in our town have for what they're interested in. And that was a reoccurring theme with the students. So then we also have our Gardner Public Library and GHS team program. I went to Mr. Kempton and I said, is it possible for us to have our students on Thursdays go over to the library and experience these different things? Like, let's see how I can help. What do you need? Need transportation. And Gabe Dosty worked magic, and he has a bus for us at 2:30 that gets our students. And then you can see us on a beautiful September afternoon. We're having so much fun out there doing tie-dyeing. And next, we have Laura, who's sitting here in the audience. Laura Pastrana, could you please come over and share, and with your clipboard as well, dear, please? And this is our rock painting day. And this rock painting day, I was sitting at the table there too. And it was 2 days after we had the active drill at the high school. And as we were painting our rocks, students were supporting each other and having conversation about their feelings, and they were comforting each other in such powerful ways. It's a life memory that I will never forget, and it was healing to my heart too. So Laura, if you could share your thoughts about the program, please.
So first of all, hello everyone. My name is Laura Pastrana. I'm a senior student at Gardner Area High School. And the after school teen program at the local library helps me a lot because, as you know, as a senior, applying for colleges is very stressful. With the essays, with applying for scholarships, you know, all of the process behind getting into the next step is hard. So going to this program really helps me a lot because is aside from just going there and doing fun activities, is also like connecting me with people that I wouldn't talk to at school like most of the days, because you know it's a big school. During school you don't pay attention to other people most of the time. But this is really nice to interact with others and to spend your social connections. And it's also really helpful for me to find a peaceful place to go and do homework. Because before this program, I didn't know about the library. I never went to. But after that, I've been going more often to work on my essays, to work on school projects, and it just has been so much helpful for me.
Thank you so much, Laura. And next, we have Zoe Herrick. Zoe and Laura is a senior and Zoe is a junior.
Hi, I'm Zoe Herrick. At first, I was really surprised that Ms. Butterfield offered to let me speak here. I'm a very quiet, shy person, so it's a very opening thing. She sent an email to me and my mom about how much I'm a leader, and that really impacted me because, again, I'm very shy. And honestly, when I first went to this Gardner Public Library thing, I only talked to like a group of people, maybe like 4 or 3. And, you know, throughout the days throughout the weeks I've been there, I've opened to more people. I've talked about more problems, especially the one where the school was, you know, in lockdown. I've helped other people with their family problems, with everything else. Oh my God.
That's okay. That's Zoe right there in front of the butterflies. Land that, honey.
Just roll with it, you're doing great.
It's perfect.
First, I've really loved this place, and I found greatness and just wholesome stuff. And honestly, I found gaining trust to people. I've opened up. I found myself comfort. And I'm a transfer student. I came here sophomore year. I was in Portland High School for my first year of high school, freshman. And, you know, just it opened so many new opportunities. We fit in. There's no one that's excluded in this place. And honestly, it's just so fun. I love being there. I spend my days there. Like, I don't know what you can. From my other amazing peers, my friends, my family, they've also said that they've gained friends there. They've also said they've gained trust there. They've also said that they have fun staying after school there. It's just welcoming, and we're all family, and you can't have a family without connection of trust. That's all I have to say.
Here is Brandon Jennings tonight, and Brandon, could you just stand and say hello? And Brandon's mom, thank you so much for coming as well. And tonight we had so much fun at Gardner Public Library, all of us making holiday things with the parade this weekend and wearing our different things. So Brandon, thank you for being here and offering your support. And if there are questions after, Brandon is willing to answer those as well. And Ms. McGuire, my
I
slide.
stopped you from showing so I could see you.
Oh, okay, wonderful, thank you. Yes, please, if I may. Thank you. Okay, so we have that. Oh, and then we're at the end here, and I would just like to show a little minute or so video from Justin Henke, who is the new director from Gardner Public Library. He had hoped to be here tonight, but not able to join us. So hopefully we'll have sound and we'll be able to hear him.
I'm so sorry that I can't be at the school. I'm so sorry that I can't be at the school board meeting tonight, but I wanted to send a quick video to say thank you for letting the teens at the Gardner Area High School be part of this wonderful collaboration we have going on with your amazing high school librarian, Deb. And these kids come to the libraries after school on Thursday, and they breathe so much life into our building and into our community. And we have just enjoyed the last few months having them in our space. We've done tie-dye, we've painted rocks, we've made jewelry, we've played video games, and we've just had fun all around. And I think the kids that are coming are really making a connection to the community, and we're also really making a strong connection with the kids. And you know, as they say, I believe the children are the future. And these children are our future. These children are the future of the library. They will be the ones leading the library in the future. And I couldn't be happy to be the library director and to work with these kids in the future. Gardner and all of our surrounding communities are in good hands. So thank you so much for supporting this program. Let's keep it going. Let's keep getting teens in the library. Let's keep doing this. Thank you, and I'll see you around. Have a happy holidays. Come to the library.
So make sure you visit the library so you can see Justin in person. He's fabulous. And there are.
Hi, everyone. It's Gardner Public Library. I'm so sorry that I can't be at the school board meeting tonight, but I wanted to send a quick video.
Doubly sorry.
So sorry.
So the students loved Selena's fly tie shop so much when we had our Find Your Good event that Gardner Public Library was also there, started talking to Selena, and they said, we want you to come from Gardner Public Library over to our tie shop some Thursday afternoon. And so I went to Mr. Kempton. I said, Mr. Kempton, we really want to start taking field trips. And he said, well, how can I help? So we had a meeting with Ms. Hopkins, and now we're going to start having field trips. Now, one of them is going to be to the fly tie shop. But my call to action here is we really would like your ideas of other amazing people in the community that have talents or interests where we can go on field trips on Thursday afternoons, or that they can come into our schools and partake. So email me or Patricia. We would love to know about those ideas because I know Mr. Kempton will help us put those into action. And I have to want to wrap up and say that this past spring, Patricia had us go down to a Gardner event Patricia, what was that called? Get to know Gardner?
What's happening in Gardner
Yes.
and what do you want to see happen?
Right. It was a Saturday and those 15 students had never been in the niche store. And Sharon Gallant and I took them over for an ice cream treat at Goldfinch Creamery. Only one of them had ever been in there before. But they said in the meeting that they want more opportunities to be in Gardner, to have experiences that don't involve alcohol or other substances. They want people like artists to show them how to do art. They want to go fishing down on the river. They want someone to show them how to cast. And so we're really trying to listen that our students want to feel connected, like they matter. And I know for myself, I live in a small town an hour away and I'm not home very much. I'm usually in Gardner, but
Same.
I went to the Story Walk opening at GRMS recently. And I looked around, I'm like, I know so many people here. This is my community. And our administrators in this district and our school board are so amazing, not just to help our students, but also the staff to feel connected and supported. So I'm really excited about that how you're all helping our students feel like they truly matter, because they do. So let's just keep moving ahead together. And I really appreciate your patience and Terry's help. And I think I've gone over our 10-minute time frame. So thank you for that patience too, and for having us tonight. Thank you.
Board members, do you have any questions or?
I just wanted to say the archives in the basement, it's amazing.
Yes.
Spend some time there. There was a house just down the street got robbed through postcards because they didn't have phones at the time. So they planned the whole robbery through postcards in the mail. And she actually acquired some of the postcards, so it's really interesting. There's so much down there, so much history, it's incredible.
It is, and I just will say that Dawn, if you do live in the area and you go to Dawn and say, here's my address, you can find out all about your house and who built it and all kinds of cool
Who
stuff.
robbed it?
Yeah, right. Wherever they came from or.
She is a local treasure for sure.
Yes, she is.
Jim and Diane, you both had your hands up. Diane first, and then Jim.
Just, you were talking about, they're interested in art. I'm sure you're aware tomorrow night is an art walk in Gardner?
Yes. We're advertising and spreading the word with students about the events. We're going to participate in the parade on Saturday.
Jim?
My question was, how did the students get from the high school to the library? Is transportation available?
Gabe Dostey has
Super.
arranged that. The students wait in the library with me until 2:30. And then I put them on a bus. We get some fresh air outside. They go on a bus. I hop in my car, follow over after, and are there. And what's really wonderful is that parents can pick up their child after work at 5:30. And because so many students have expressed that the library at the high school is open from 2 to 3, Monday through Thursday, but transportation is a barrier for a lot of students who want to stay. So this makes that possibility really fabulous. So thank you, Gabe.
Wonderful, thank you.
Tony.
I just wanted to kind of check, it sounds like this is something that kind of started during COVID and even like some of those remote meetings and stuff.
Yes.
Nice job carrying it forward and thank you for doing that. And I don't know, just that sounds like a really great community connection that the schools are doing. And so thank you for saying yes, Mr. Kemp.
Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, nice job to pull that forward and pull something really positive out of it.
How do you say no to Miss Butterfield?
That's how I got in.
You can't say no.
That's right. I want to know where you got a bus driver.
I know.
Nobody can find one of those.
It's all Tigers Create though. I just have to say, I only did the first one on my own because there were so many GHS staff who immediately jumped on board and shared their talent. So it's really, I'm just the facilitator with a group of amazing staff that come together like family with students because we missed each other and we need each other.
And you're an Energizer bunny.
Yes.
You've got all the parts going. That's wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Thank you all so much. That's really wonderful.
Thank you and happy holidays to all.
You
We're going to
too.
excuse ourselves.
I can't imagine why.
Thank you.
Hardly got to the good part.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
And Miss Butterfield, it's really nice seeing you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was actually kind of emotional thinking about the last time I was at
I
the
was
school
thinking
board.
about that too, yes.
It's been a healing time.
It's
So
really
thank you.
great to see how well you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for staying the rest of the time. I'll go around this way.
Just great. Okay, recognition and celebrations as written.
Well, no, I would like to do a little bit more.
Okay.
I
never
we
get it right.
have, sorry, we have a new school board member
Oh, yes, we do.
representing Gardner, so Megan Carlson.
And it's your birthday.
So, and it's her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
What a great way to spend your birthday.
I told Pat that if I was at home, I'd have to do bedtime.
See?
So at least I don't have to do bedtime.
Yeah,
Stay up past
you
that.
get to have Dunkin' all for yourself.
Yep.
So,
Luxurious.
Very.
so welcome. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
The next one, I do have a little bit of information. So Sean Menace, who some of you have probably met before. I'm sure he's been here. He's a senior at the high school, and he was just notified today that he was one of 2 Maine delegates selected in the state for U.S. Senate Youth Program. In this particular program, it's a very prestigious honor that includes a $10,000 scholarship and an all expenses paid trip to Washington, D.C., where he will hear major policy addresses by senators, cabinet members, officials of the Department of State and Defense, leaders of other federal agencies, and senior members of the national media. He will also meet with the President of the United States and participate in a meeting with a justice from the U.S. Supreme Court. So he will get to do that around the 1st of March. So kudos
fantastic.
to Sean. That is remarkable. And today, when we had the presentation, there was a representative from Senator Collins' office, from Senator King's office, from the Department of Education, and they said that his proposal or his application just blew them away. It was so phenomenal. So kudos to Sean.
Yeah.
And that's all 3 branches of the government that he's meeting with, is that?
That's my
Sounds like it.
understanding. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope he does some good work. We could use it. That's awesome. Good for him. Correspondence as written.
There you go.
Great. Okay. Committee reports. CATC.
Alrighty. We had a meeting. Actually, the second meeting of the year. Let me get my notes out. Okay, on the 28th. Now, there's going to be an open house for the CATC program in January on the 19th. It's going to be from, tentatively, it's between 6 and 9 in the evening. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of students there. And if you get a chance to go, I encourage it. I think it would be a real eye opener because you'll be able to see all the different opportunities that the students have at CATC. And we had a fantastic lunch. The students made pot pies. You know, I like to eat. But anyways, pot pies. I can't stand pot pies. God's gift to nastiness. But anyways, my wife loves them. And I had the best pot pie I've ever had in my life.
Oh, so you ate
It
it?
was fantastic. Yeah, I ate every bit.
No
of it.
nastiness there.
And I actually, unfortunately, Pat had to leave early, so I stole your pie. I brought it home to my wife. I
And
had
you're
kudos
admitting it
for
out
her.
loud.
They served a meal and I had an emergency and had to leave, yeah.
So
Oh, my
I talked to the directors. I would want to take something. I didn't know if I could leave or not. Said, no problem. Brought me some foil. I covered it. My wife was very happy. Anyways,
That is awesome.
we had 4 students from the culinary department. One of the chefs was ill. The main chef, I'm terrible with names. I don't remember her name, but she's an outstanding director for the program.
Heidi someone, I don't remember her
She was
last
at Hell's
name.
Heidi, is it Heidi?
Yes,
Yeah.
Heidi, she was in Hell's Kitchen, she came in third place or
Yeah,
something.
she's-
Oh, no
Yes,
way.
she's fantastic.
So she really knows. how to
We,
cook.
of the 4 students that spoke and prepared our meals, 3 of them are from Gardner. So we are well represented in the culinary department. It's not, they added a new director, a new professor this year. And that program is already beginning to get close to maxed out again. So I wouldn't be surprised they get a 3rd one if they can figure out the space for them all. We approved a FYI 23 budget. And then we went through and reviewed 4 job descriptions. And we did approve those as an advisory position only. They do have to be reviewed by the Augusta School Department for the final decision on the description. You've got to be qualified to get hired there, let me tell you. These are not fly-by-night people. Since COVID is over, they're going to start with outreach again to try to get more students to understand what CATC is all about. They are hoping to do school visits, even possibly down to the middle school level, which there are actually some areas that are doing, in the state of Maine, are doing a middle school version of CATC, light, let's say. And anyways, that's about it. That's about what I have to say. It was a great, every time I've been there, I've learned something new. They really know what they're doing. So kudos to them.
It's a perfect committee for you, Jim.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
This is perfect. Thank you, Jim.
Not that I'm excited about it or anything.
No, and I love
I've learned
that
it for 6 years.
pot pie is God's gift.
Yeah.
God's gift to them,
And it was delicious.
except from CATC. I love it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you, Jim. Let's see, curriculum committee. Matt is not here. Angela, may I put you on the spot?
Yes, I anticipated it. We held a curriculum committee meeting on November 8th. And we had a guest, Peter Thomas, who is a special educator in the STARS program. I'm confused. And both of our special programs are housed this year at Helen Thompson School in West Gardner. And so we wanted to learn a little bit more about the teaching and learning side of STEPS, which is the autism program, and STARS, especially now that it has the capacity to expand from kindergarten through 5th grade. And so he was able to come in and spend quite a bit of time with us talking about the staff, the role of the staff, and the way the day unfolds for students and the focus of learning. And I don't know if there's any other, Diane, you were there.
Yes, I was there too. I love the curriculum committee meetings are great too. We don't get pot pies, but it's good. And
Snacks.
Peter Thomas, obviously he has a gentle demeanor. You can see that he's been at this job for 30-some years or something like that.
Long
For a
time.
long time.
26, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have, but yeah.
26 years,
Three decades.
and been a teacher in this program for 21.
And I would just add a few impressions I had that I was interested because he said the STARS program, they go back to there are 2 sending schools, Riverview and Piston Randolph, and some stay at Helen Thompson. And that in doing so, they're going back into a regular classroom situation. So he monitors that very closely and keeps close contact with those teachers. How did they do? Did they handle it okay? And I remember him saying, he deals with students who need something truly special. And that over the years, he's run into his former students who are often very successful and doing fine. And, you know, it seems like there's just an awful lot of room for, they're progressing and they're educating students who cannot be educated in the regular way. But he was really great. And his contact with everyone and how they're doing, not just, it sounded like it was a daily basis to know how a student is functioning.
Wraparound program with a team-based approach so that the children have a lot of supports and scaffolds is what we learned, right? And the importance of every person on the team, including the family and the students. That was a key takeaway, I think. So that was the focus of our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for being willing to jump in like that.
Of course.
Let's see, dropout prevention had no meeting, finance committee meeting. We spoke about that at the last meeting and then we did not have this month's meeting, so.
And the minutes are coming soon.
Soon, I'm guessing.
When I have a minute.
Have a minute, yes.
No pressure.
But if anybody has a need and wants to know what we discussed at the November meeting, you can certainly go on to our live stream and watch the meeting because it was.
There was no meeting in November.
The one before where we're waiting for the minutes.
In October.
Correct. Did I say November?
You said November.
I meant October. You can always go back and watch that meeting because it was a great meeting and a lot of detail in there and it's not very long, maybe an hour. So while we wait, it's fine. That's why we did this, so we can not have to panic about minutes. Policy committee.
All right, so we met on November 3rd and let's see, had a really broad and deep review and discussion of the policies that you see listed here. There was also a community request that we looked at and it looked like it had been resolved and didn't need further intervention from us at this time. So we have, let's see, the policies listed for a first reading. It does include an update to the student handbook regarding dances. And that's all should be contained in your packet. It's in the e-packet for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could put forward a motion to approve these policies for a first reading as a bundle.
Second from somebody? Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carried. Student representatives report.
I talked to students from every grade this month. So from a senior, I asked her how her year is going. She said it's been stressful, but she's working on it. And I also asked them about how they felt the lockdown went this month. And they said that everyone in the class acted very accordingly. It was very scary, of course. But definitely that Alice training had a lot of benefits to it because we knew what to do and we acted on it. And they are also thankful, this one is the junior. Their year is going well. She really likes her teachers, especially Miss Earlbeck. She's not a fan of chemistry class, but she is doing great. And for the lockdown, a lot of teachers reacted in different ways, but overall it was very great and so thankful for everything. And she's also thankful that the police reacted so quickly, 1 minute and 30 seconds, I think. That was really amazing. And it just made her feel more safer. We're doing a great job. A sophomore said that his year is going okay. He's enjoyed being at the school, doing lots of extracurriculars. And unfortunately, he felt that the teachers he was with that were substitutes didn't really know what to do that much. So reacted a little bit more slowly than others, but has heard that some teachers have helped out with that, and kids help the substitute along the way. So. A freshman says that her year is going good and upperclassmen have helped her a lot. She says that since this is a new school for her, that it was very scary to be in a lockdown, but everything that the teachers did made her feel so safe and comfortable in this school. And overall, I'm thankful to all of you and you guys did great. And I have one thing from NHS. They had a successful Thanksgiving food drive, I believe, that provided food for many families for Thanksgiving in the gardening community. Yeah. And thank you.
Lastly, the middle school drama club presents the production of Dorothy in Wonderland. Their opening night is tonight. The story is the tale of Dorothy and her friends, the Lion, Scarecrow, and Tin Man, who are swept from Oz into Wonderland, where they meet Alice, the Mad Hatter, and the Red Queen. Come to the show to see if Dorothy makes it home to Kansas, Alice makes it home to London, if the Red Queen is defeated.
I won't take offense to that.
The shows are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. You can purchase tickets at the door or email grmsplaytickets.com. In the Interact Club, they have a craft fair. It's sponsoring a Christmas craft fair on December 17th from 9 to 3 p.m. at Life Community Church in Gardner. And then Operation Christmas. This is the Interact Club's fourth Operation Christmas. They are working with JMG, Latin Club, and other organizations and community members to bring holiday cheer to some families in our community. We'll be busy shopping and wrapping until December 20th. Oh yeah. NHS will also be helping out with that again this year. So great, it's gonna be fun.
I have to say, I am impressed at the number of students at the high school. I know there are some at the middle school as well, who have just embraced community service and giving back to their community. It's just amazing. It's so impressive, the amount of money raised for the Thanksgiving baskets. Years ago, I would go over and help fill the boxes, and you might have a can of corn or a few potatoes, and of course you had a turkey. This year there were pies and eggs. It has grown so extensively, and it's due in large part to our student body. So just kudos to all of them, just really impressed.
Ms. Boudreau, who's head of NHS, was so surprised on how much money we brought in. We didn't think we were going to bring in much with our coin thing at the high school, but then the middle school jumped in, but they were Penny more, raised so much money, and then all their schools did too, and it just made us all smile and really happy. And the boys who went out and bought the pies got the money from Boudreau and spent it all and got tons of pies. So, yeah.
How much did you raise? Like 3,000?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Middle school had
The middle school, which is part of what I'll share them, but we raised over $6,000 in 2 weeks. Yeah, I had the exact number in my report, but yeah. Yes, it's over, it's like $6,639.80, I think it is. But yeah, it was very impressive. It was very serious.
Yes.
And yes, it was very serious.
Yeah, and then I think Camden National Bank was a huge partner in
They
that.
yes, they absolutely they actually to bring somebody in just for like almost 2 weeks just to wrap all that change. Because they had to count it and then wrap it right into the it was very serious, but they didn't ask anything, they didn't charge any, they literally partnered because they too wanted to give back to the community. You know, and they do a lot of stuff, so it was amazing. In fact, you know, we're carrying these giant buckets, well, I would say carrying, we're slugging it in giant buckets. And they were kind of like, all right, we got more, you know, they weren't like, oh gosh, you know, I'm like, you have a machine back there, right? That's at least counting it, or, but yeah, they were wonderful.
So there was no machine counting it?
There was a machine.
Okay, good.
There's definitely a machine, but then they had to roll it afterwards.
Sounds awful, because all that change is dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, so great. Let's see, now it's time for administrator reports.
Sure. Start with,
You want to go first? No, Element, I'm jumping the gun. I'm telling you about what I was gonna say anyway. Here, tally forward. I'll sit back down.
All right, sounds good. I'll take over. So I'm Vicki Dugay. I'm the principal at Riverview, but I'm reporting out on all of the elementary schools. So I'll go through each one and we'll report something noteworthy and something that's a challenge. Starting with LER, they're celebrating that all of their kindergarten teaching staff has returned from maternity leave. They had 2 teachers that had babies this fall, but as of November 21st, they were both back. Students are excited to have their teachers back, and their kindergarten teachers are excited to start really melding as a team. Many thanks to Tony Richardson and Manny Placentia. They were both amazing long-term subs and kept teaching and learning happening for the young learners. And I get Manny next month because I have a teacher going on maternity leave, so I'm excited to have Manny. One of the challenges at LER is their art teacher just resigned, so they will work to hire for the position, and that covers art at LER and HTS, so they're working right now trying to hire for that position. At HT, noteworthy, I think we kind of talked a little bit about this. They raised $651.94 in support of Gardner Area High School's National Honor Society effort to provide for the Thanksgiving baskets for families. They're so proud of their students for the show of kindness and generosity. So it sounds like it was a whole community wraparound event. So that was great. Challenge is attendance continues to be a challenge at HT. They have a chronic absentee rate, but it has improved from 31% in October to 28% in November. As a school, they recognize 15 students with perfect attendance in trimester 1 and another 17 students with excellent attendance present at school every day, though they might have had a tardy or dismissed early. They're reaching out to families each month to report updated attendance data and to encourage regular attendance, which is directly linked to student achievement. At Pittston, what's noteworthy is they welcome back their special education ed tech from the middle school, who immediately made an impact at Pittston Randolph Community School. At their November assembly, it included a collaborative learning challenge centered around their month's theme of being happy with who you are. Their challenge continues to be a shared nurse. This month, they had 348 visits that resulted in a return to class, 44 visits that required phone calls home, and 23 students that had to be sent home for feeling ill. At Riverview, we have students who have been designing the cover of the Riverview yearbook. Each classroom shows their favorite design. So each student designed a yearbook. They voted as a classroom. We have 10 classrooms, so 10 designs were put forward. They're currently displayed, and tomorrow the students will vote for their favorite design. The winner becomes the cover, and the 9 runner-ups become a collage of the back cover. So they're all excited about that. So Monday, we will announce who the winner is. We also have 2 teachers to highlight. Kim O'Brien, our 5th grade teacher, received a 2023 NEA Foundation Global Learning Foundation Fellowship. And through the fellowship, teachers transform their classrooms to give students a global perspective. So she's working on that. That goes through the whole year. And she just spent some time in Washington, D.C. And this summer, she has a 2-week trip to, I believe, it's Africa. I'll have to look, but it's an international trip that's part of this. So she's working, it's going to be a whole year-long process. And Caitlin Guy-Shaker, our music teacher, who we share with HT, received a grant through the Maine Retired Teachers to expand her music classroom library. So she's using that money to choose books that work around her music curriculum. Our challenge is staffing shortage, which I think is it's everywhere. We're down in ed tech, and that puts a strain on our staff and teachers. So we have 2 ed techs, special ed techs that support students in 10 classrooms. So it means we have 50 reading classes, 50 writing classes, and 50 math classes each week that the 2 ed techs that we currently have support. So that's our challenge. So that's it for the elementary. Any questions? I can answer Riverview. The rest is going to have to go that way. Thank you.
Questions for administrators, anyone? No was a great report. Thank you.
I don't have
that
side.
It's right there.
Sorry. I'm saving paper.
Oh, in the back, there's 2 pages.
I found it. Lots of papers going on. All right, so we'll start with Gardner Regional Middle School. So as we sort of just touched, or recap, students participated in the penny war to help raise money for Thanksgiving baskets at the high school. They raised, here's the official number, $3,627.95 to help ensure that families across our district and in our community were able to celebrate with friends and family. There was some fierce competition, but a lot of smiles. If you've never done a penny war, you put silver change in somebody else's homeroom jar so they go into negative numbers. And the pennies or dollar bills bring yours up. So you're literally like trying to sink your competition and get yours at the same time. It's very, very fierce. And people were bringing bricks of like $25 worth of pennies. It was beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. And again, we owe a huge thank you to Camden National Bank for partnering with us to count all of that, to roll it. Certainly no easy task with that much change coming on in. So they didn't charge us anything. They really partnered and wanted to give back to the community. So we very much so thank them. We also had a really awesome experience. This is the first time it's happened since COVID, but our veterans in the community were able to come back into our building and work with our 8th graders. So we had 12 different veterans across all of the different armed forces come in and they did presentations with our 8th graders, talked about their experience in military history and various wars over time, and kind of helped bring a lot of that to life. And our students had questions and it related back into their studies. So it was just a really amazing experience. They stayed, they had lunch with them, they had breakfast with them. It was like an all-day event. So kids were loving it. We're like, are we doing this again? Yes, we're gonna do it again. So it was really nice.
That and having to dress appropriately for the interactions.
Yes, that was one of the things we
well-received,
encouraged them to
yes.
dress professionally for the action. And it was, I was like, we need to start doing like dress for success days because I was walking down the hall like, yeah.
You can do it.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Like women in their little tie. It was really neat. So I would say that the challenge we're facing right now is that even with 2 counselors, a spur social worker, a special education social worker, and a general education social worker that we share at the high school, we're still not having enough time or enough people with time to meet all of the mental health needs of our kids. Some of them are actually, because the referrals keep coming in, are considering maybe starting to meet with kids every other week just to try to take on more. So it's just a challenge that we're having right now is how do we ensure we're providing services to everybody who really needs it across our building. So we're very thankful for what we have, and it's more than many, many schools across, which is incredible, but it's still, we're still seeing that we need more. At the high school, so their chapter of the National Honor Society held their annual induction ceremony on November 7th when 23 students were inducted. This brings the group to a total of 40 juniors and seniors. The same group has since led their annual Thanksgiving basket drive and distributed approximately 190 Thanksgiving meals to local residents. Isn't that amazing? Our drama club has performed The Crucible, an adaptation of Arthur Miller's play. And the November monthly challenge for the wellness team is an attitude of gratitude. So the team is promoting a variety of healthy habits to help everyone feel good and be happy. Every student at the high school has learned and recited a poem of their choice as part of the school-wide Poetry Out Loud competition. Classroom winners were selected on November 21st and 22nd, and there will now be a school-wide competition with the winner moving on to the regional competition later this year. So ladies, we're ready to hear your poems in a moment. Deborah Butterfield, as we heard earlier, is working with the Gardner Public Library on an after-school program for students, and so she shared some of those highlights with you all earlier. One challenge they're facing is they had an interesting day on November 15th. When they had to go into a lockdown due to a threat message received by the Gardner Dispatch Center. Adult education, noteworthy. We sometimes get helpful information from special services regarding students that come our way. Recently, we had particularly positive collaboration with the Director of Special Services to support a student. Without sharing specifics, it is noteworthy that her participation and insights offered significant benefit to the current and former high school students exploring adult education. Thank you, Director Morris. One challenge that Adult Ed is facing is HiSET changed ownership in October, and the resulting technological transition has been less than smooth. While they have done some testing since the transition, the online system has been down again for a second time. In athletics, noteworthy, high school volleyball team competed in the state championships and lost to Yarmouth, but they had a great time. They finished the season as the Class B state runner-up and KVAC champions. One challenge, the new middle school athletic league, the Central Maine League, that we moved to this year with hopes of it being more competitive than the other leagues we were in, which was the Capital Area League, has proven to not be as strong as hoped, at least through the fall sports season. There was some disappointment that there was no postseason playoffs. Questions for any of us?
I just want to say, being familiar with volleyball, Falmouth plays all year round, so Gardner really did amazing.
It's like that, I think people, they're just so happy to be involved, even today, kids were telling me how awesome our baseball team is gonna be. And as they were showing me the books they picked up for our new reading incident, they're like, but yeah, wait till baseball is coming and we're ready. And I was like, all right, I think everyone's just so excited to be able to connect again, right?
Yes.
And feel that we're back to, normal, in so many ways, that they have those opportunities and they're able to get out there, they're able to connect with each other, with other teams, and find that sportsmanship, that's in there, because it's not just about the winning, right? There's so much more to it, and they're feeling that, and it just is really transferring into our schools.
Thank you so much. Such great energy.
Substituting tonight. So I will share the system director's notes. In the business office, the district has signed a 2-year contract for its electricity supply. The bid price of 15 cents approximately.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. In your notes, you have the exact to the millionth, I think.
How many decibels were there?
I have to count this. Okay, the bid price of approximately 15 cents per kilowatt exceeds the district's current electricity supply rate of approximately 6 cents per kilowatt by approximately 93 cents per kilowatt. Adding approximately $180,000 annually to the district's budget. The business manager has started preparation of the 2023-2024 budget.
I feel like there should be music.
We could work on that.
Yeah.
And the challenge, there seems to be an unusually high turnover in staff this year. And in addition, there seems to be a significant number of staff on medical leave since the beginning of the school year. And with that comes all kinds of paperwork. Technology. First, the HiSET challenge is not a district technology challenge. Make that very clear. It's to do with HiSET technology, the company that owns HiSET, and their technology, not ours. Other notes from the technology department. 2/3 of the Maine Department of Education mobile computer science lab equipment was delivered on November 28th. On pallets. The technology department will work to inventory and label the equipment and get it into buildings as soon as possible. The high school received 6 kits, 3 with like AV virtual reality and 3 Lego robotics kits. The middle school received 3 kits as well. 1 Sphero kit. I should know what that is as the director of curriculum.
The little balls that you program to move around. Yep. I was gonna say whatever the bot name is, I can't remember. Yeah.
The virtual reality and Lego robotics. Helen Thompson received a Sphero and a Lego robotics kit. Pittston a Sphero and a Lego robotics kit. And Riverview a Lego robotics kit. So we got 1 kit for every 100 students, but they don't round up. So that's how we were able to determine the number of kits per building. And LER received 2 Sphero kits. There is a link here if you want to learn more about those kits. A limited amount of professional development for staff can be a barrier to successful implementation of new hardware and software programs. To assist, the Maine Department of Education has offered training and a stipend for schools using a train the trainer model. So Terry's been working with our staff to identify an individual from every building who is very interested in involving themselves in some significant professional learning related to these devices and how to use them with students. And then the plan is to have them be kind of the leaders in the buildings and provide additional professional learning for their peers and think about how to integrate this into the curriculum. So more work to be done, but very exciting that it's actually started. Special services. Special services has some amazing staff who have stepped in to help support our special programs that have been short-staffed. Shout out to Danielle Barron, who was supporting at the middle school from the start of the year up until last week. Dee Dee Bailey, who supported at the middle school from the start of the year until September 30th. And Kim Flynn, who started the year at the high school and is back again supporting in the life skills program. We want to say thank you, and it's much appreciated that they're so flexible and able to be responsive in a time of need. We're consistently short-staffed everywhere, but in special services. In our life skills program in particular, at the high school, making it extremely challenging to program for students. And as shared previously, finding bus aids remains a problem. So if you know anyone who wants to ride the bus, contact us. And that's easier than riding the bus. So.
It's easier than driving a bus. And significantly more fun, I would think.
Operations, we have a new driver coming on board next month. He's still working towards his CDL bus license through Marana Cook Adult Ed. He'll be able to transport special ed students in the van if needed and can fill in as a bus aide, which are in short supply. The bus drivers were able to donate 39 turkeys to the turkey baskets put together by the National Honor Society at the high school. That's pretty cool. The Sustainability Committee has had its first meeting and set up some future goals. We will first be looking to cut back on waste district-wide and other recycling opportunities. And a challenge. Staff shortage is the main challenge. We have a chronic problem finding aides for our 2 special ed bus runs. When an aide is out, we have no backup to cover. Nutrition. We were awarded an equipment assistance grant from the Department of Education for our LER. We were able to buy a new convection oven. Linda's staff has stepped up and been able to run their kitchens while having a lot of staff out this year. The elementary schools only have 2 staff members in each kitchen, so when one person is out, it is notable. They are making sure the children are fed at all times. So the challenge is the staff absences, and there are currently no substitutes in our substitute pool for kitchen work. Where's the camera? If you're interested. It makes it very challenging to run our kitchens. Subs are hard to come by. It's an interesting position, serving the food and still having some relationships with students. It's really actually a vital position. And the other challenge is that our equipment continues to have issues. Any equipment does over time. Curriculum. So the high school world language department and the district multilingual educators, formerly known as English language educators, have been working with me to prepare. I'm not prepared for this.
It's all good. That was perfect. You wrote it for somebody else, just remember that.
Have been working with me to prepare for this year's Seal of Biliteracy exams. We will be conducting the assessments within upper level language courses or with the multilingual educators in late February in Spanish, French, Latin, Arabic, Portuguese, and Bengali. Very exciting. Students who earn a proficient level in both the secondary language and English will be recognized in their senior year by the Maine Department of Education with a seal on their transcript. And we offer those recognitions during awards night. Is that what we call it? Awards night before graduation? Yeah. This is our second year that we'll be offering the certificates. So I'm very excited. Hopefully we'll see you now. Yeah, fingers crossed. Additionally, as part of our intentional curriculum refinement process, educators in grades 6 through 12 have been developing lessons that intentionally integrate the study of Native American communities and perspectives into our social studies curriculum. While this is Native American was in November, Native American Heritage Month, the work is not sporadic and will continue to be woven into our scope and sequence strategically as recommended in the main learning results. In the near future, the curriculum will be refined in grades pre-K through 5. Our challenge? Oh, right now it's math instruction across the district. We have one math coach because we had an open position in August when we transferred our grades 4 through 8 math coach to an assistant principal position, which has been wonderful for that. So the one math coach is spread across 4 elementary buildings this year. With the increase in new staff and the ongoing need to support students struggling, Lindsay's schedule is challenging to maintain. We have worked on strategic decision-making and unit time. This still leaves the middle school with limited support at a time when classroom level instructional support is critical. We've hired staff from Maine Math and Science Alliance to provide ongoing professional learning and a few coaching cycles on site, ultimately resulting in about 3 days of in-school coaching support this year. The second math coaching position opened in late August and no suitable candidate was secured at that point in the year. We are hoping to maintain the position for next year and identify a viable candidate. Any questions for the system directors?
I have one question. Is it possible to get a demonstration of all those, like the Lego
Robot
things?
things.
Can they come here?
Or record them
Or
in
make a
action.
video?
Yeah, video in action.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
I think
As soon as we get
wanna-
it going,
Yeah.
that would be really fun.
I think that would be so much fun for us to see how that stuff works.
Gotta get it unpacked. We should do an unboxing video.
Yeah, you should.
I think they call it reveal.
Reveal.
We're gonna have some students do it, so it looks way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you need like a 6th grader to do it, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, if anybody wants to help distribute them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not
use
small
them.
little things, yeah.
It would be great if we could see that.
That's a great idea.
Wonderful to hear it and
Sounds good.
thank you. That'll be great.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Sure.
So with this, I don't know who this pertains to, but with the mental health needs of the children not being, being stretched, I'll use that word. Why would they have a recess duty? Why would they not be working with children all day? Like have their lunch break and whatever other break they have during the day. Why would they be assigned a recess duty when they should actually be working with the child?
At the high school, they're not. I mean, sorry, high school. I'm done going home, guys. At the middle school, they're not. They're 100% kids all day. So I can only speak for my school, but that's not happening with us.
I would say I can just, at Riverview, we don't assign recess duty for a social worker. However, she sometimes goes out and she's available in the morning as well. Even if they're assigned a duty, it's actually a really good time for the social worker to see how the students that they're working with are interacting in a natural environment where they tend to have more of their struggles. So a lot of struggles some of these kids have is interacting with their peers, appropriately. So if a social worker is on recess duty, even though it might seem like they should have one-on-one time with a student, they get to see more of their students and how they actually interact with their peers. So it's not necessarily a detriment if they do have a recess duty. Unfortunately, sometimes it is stretched thin because we are short-staffed. So it is hard to cover all our duties. But my social worker is able to do a lot of morning time and greets a lot of the students and gets to see as they're coming in how they're presenting. But recess is also a time we see a lot of kids struggle, and they come back in from recess and are presenting with a lot of struggles. And if a social worker is out there, they're seeing what those struggles are and can more effectively work with that student if they're coming in. So there are some benefits to it, even though it is hard when we're talking about stretching our staff thin.
Now, are you taking volunteers into the schools yet, like parents, and can parents do recess duty or no?
If they want to, they have to come in and go, kind of talk to us about volunteering, confidentiality and everything. But yes, parents, if you're out there and you want to volunteer, please send me an email and we can set up a schedule. I would love to have extra help at recess.
This is sort of like a half-cooked idea that I didn't have the words for while the people were here, but we have our Thursdays at the library crew that are interested in learning about people's vocations and their passions. What if one of their experiences was to learn a little bit more about teaching? And from that, maybe to have that experience to hear from some of the teachers on how, on teaching methods, and then maybe be able to have like a community, like an after-school event or something, or during school where they could go and experience trying to help some of the kids that are currently running the math coach off their feet. Like, would it be possible to maybe like spread that knowledge down in two ways, for teaching and for learning?
Building like a student leadership and mentorship program.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, listen, I mean, I think it's a great idea. It's something we definitely would have to kind of flesh out. However, just to highlight Deborah again, who was here presenting during COVID, she and was it Christy McNaughton? Blue Bay Tigers Create, what was it called? Cubs and Tigers, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they did a virtual program that brought students from LER, partnered with students from the high school, and there were adults in the Zoom sessions to make sure everything was facilitated appropriately and safe and all that. And they did a group exercise and then paired exercises in breakout rooms with adult supervision. And that, were you part of that at all, Alyssa? It went pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, it went great.
And that was virtually, which is pretty impressive. And I'm pretty sure they learned some redirection skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe again, taking something from an idea and a practice that we've tried before and growing that would be really interesting.
Yes.
I just want to say one other thing, just to say thank you for the kind of, I think we all appreciate the description we get from the administrators. It's great to have like the stories kind of attached, really powerful. I appreciate the shout out to the staff. I know everybody's working so hard, but everybody's like doing, kind of double coverage and everything. And I hear, trying to make sure that the needs of all the students are met, and that's sort of front and center. And at the same time, we're running into just the edges of how much coverage we have. So I appreciate everybody's work that way for sure, and hearing that from you.
What we have and what we don't have, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was great tonight. Thank you.
Yes, very good.
Wellness, no meeting.
May I ask a question? Pat, do you know, I haven't talked to Ari recently. I know everything's happening, so I don't want to add a thing. I haven't heard any more. I'll reach out to him and see.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
not heard
Yep.
anything.
Very good.
Hopefield, we're meeting next week, and we talked about last month, the lighting. The miracle lighting
I was
that
gonna say,
happened at
more magic.
the more magic
Yeah.
on Hope Field. So stay tuned for next month.
Concession building is
Oh,
in the works. Yep, so they craned the trusses on, they're working on doing the plywood on the roof. They're hoping to have metal next week for the walls and roofs, so they can finalize the enclosure of it. Maybe by the end of the next week, it may be almost weather tight.
Nice.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Gabe.
Sophie's mom was in the paper too, right, for concessions?
Yes, she was, because
I
we
was
have
like,
the
why
best
is she familiar?
concessions.
And then I realized.
With her little,
Yeah.
I love those things, fried dough, the little fried dough,
Yeah.
the little lumps of fried dough.
She was holding her little like fried dough queen trophy that
Yeah.
Mr. Walker bought her before COVID started.
That's
Yeah, because everyone came back and would ask for some. She's like, "I'm out, kids," and they're like, "That's not okay." So upset.
That's not okay. Thanks for bringing that up. I'd forgotten. Yeah, it was great. All righty, general information, just as written. Nominations, none. Old business.
Old business, just thought that we should spend a little bit of time talking about, it's actually November 15th, it wasn't the 17th. But wanted just to give an opportunity to make sure that you all had the same information and the opportunity to ask questions. So maybe just a quick, very brief summary about what happened, and certainly Mr. Kempton can fill in any blanks. But the phone call went to dispatch. And I think the call went in somewhere around 8:45 in the morning. And dispatch contacted the Chief Toman, who fortunately was in front of the middle school at the time. And so he turned around immediately, went to the high school, and was going through the front doors within a minute and a half, 2 minutes of actually receiving the phone call. The administration found out about the incident as a result of law enforcement going through the front door. That's how we really learned about it. At some point, I can't tell you the exact time frame. I know dispatch did call the school. Chief Toman requested that they call the school. Christina Riddle, the administrative assistant, answered the phone. So she received some information from them. Once Chief Toman went into the building, he locked down the building with the help of Jared Dumas, the assistant principal. So Jared called the lockdown. And as you know, Alyssa said, the staff and the students were amazing. Thanks to the Alice training that Mr. Kempton has done. Everyone knew what to do. So had it been a real situation, lives, I think as Chief Toman has said, lives absolutely would have been saved thanks to the reaction by our student body and our staff. They were just phenomenal. The call came into the central office around 8:50. And that's when I found out. So I grabbed my things and Terry, and we went.
You grabbed Terry?
I grabbed Terry. I did. She was standing here. I'm like, you with me. And we went up to the high school, and we proceeded to go up by the upper parking lot. And there were already number of law enforcement officers from state police, from Kennebec County sheriffs, of course, all of the local Gardner PD. I know that there was an officer from Richmond Police Department. There may have been others. Our school was swarmed within within minutes. We were really fortunate. I mean, we happen to live in a community, we're close to Augusta. So we have many, many community members who are involved in law enforcement. Many of our parents are in law enforcement. And so any threat against our students, our staff, and they're there. It was impressive. So with law enforcement in the building, they worked with the administration to canvass the school and make sure that they knew what was going on. When they realized that there was not a threat, they cleared all of the classrooms. On the outside, we sent a communication to parents. That went out within 20 minutes.
That was amazing, Pat.
Yeah,
Well
thank
done. Yes.
Thank you, appreciate that. We had some flaws with it, you know,
No,
to
but it was
improve for
timely.
next time.
Yeah.
But one of the lessons learned, I really appreciate it, one of the lessons learned that I wasn't thinking of at the time was like, I need to notify parents. Parents are going to absolutely be freaking out and they need to know what's going on, as do the staff. And one of the outcomes that I hadn't really thought about is that the staff in the high school were behind locked doors with students. So they were able, as they received the message, they were able to communicate with students to let them know what was going on. And the response that I've received is that that had a very calming effect. And it helped to reassure the staff as well as the students that we were beginning to hear at that point that other schools had received a similar threat, but that law enforcement was here. We were here in force and we were going to keep them safe. So I think it was after I sent out the letter or the phone message, it was another 30 minutes and before the building was completely cleared and we were able to send out another message. And at that time, as you know, if you received the message that we told parents that they could come and dismiss their children if they would like. Probably 95% of the families chose to dismiss their children, understandably so. While it was a hoax, it wasn't a hoax. It was real. It was real. We all felt that it was real. The adrenaline was pumping. But
terrorism.
it really was an act of terrorism. But for the students who stayed, it was a huge benefit for them. Those students who stayed, many of them would have gone home to an empty house. So to be able to remain in school, kind of process with an adult, I think was the
And
right
have your
thing to do.
needs met throughout the day without having to think
Absolutely.
about what to do next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that we decided to keep the doors open and keep school open for the day. We had administratively already planned on having a training the very next day. And that was fortuitous for us. So we were able to use this situation as our real tabletop, right? And we spent a good amount of time really processing what worked, what areas we could improve upon. I think overall, everyone followed the emergency plan extremely well. It worked. There were opportunities for tweaking our communication system. You know, when I sent out the notification, I was using the Thrill Share program, which is how we notify for snow days. Well, in my system, I don't have any way of notifying anyone outside of the school district, parents, staff members, right?
Yeah.
Because we just take the Power School, the phone numbers from Power School and we load it up. So I have parents, I have staff, and it goes out. So there was no mechanism in place for me to contact and notify any of you, right? Other than communicating through you or trying to send an email. The Boys and Girls Club, right? Unless it was a parent at the Boys and Girls Club or Margaret Murphy or other types of entities. So we've been talking about ways in which we can strengthen that. So if we're in a similar situation again, that communication can be better, and we can better inform other organizations, school districts, around us, that type of thing. So that was a good lesson learned for us. The day before the incident, Sam Quintana, our school resource officer, had dropped off to all of our buildings the brand new radios. Right, so if
From the
you
grant.
remember, in finance, we've talked about it, that Sam actually submitted and had approved a grant to the Kennebec County for ARP funds, American Rescue Plan funds. And so we have brand new radios and a repeater that will allow us to communicate without using cell phones. And this type of emergency, we're all advised to have a backup plan because cell phone service may crash, right? So this particular system that Sam has, that he applied for, the grant will allow us to be able to communicate from South Gardner all the way out to West Gardner. So we just didn't have it set up yet because it was still literally in
In the boxes,
boxes, right? It
right.
had arrived the day before. But that is a tool that we will be able to use in the future. And it's a tool that I think most school districts don't have. So, really kudos to Sam for making sure that we have a mechanism, a system in place to be able to communicate with one
Taking
another.
that initiative. That was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think, those are really the overall, I mean, that's what happened. Shared a bit of a couple, 2 or 3 takeaways. But overall, everyone was amazing. And I have to also do a shout out to the administration. Part of our training is that when you are in this situation, you're supposed to kind of be locked down and stationary, right, behind closed doors. And you let the law enforcement kind of go through the school and make sure that you're safe. And if there is a real shooter out there, that they're in the front, they're on that front line. Not at our high school. At our high school, our administration was side by side with law enforcement, putting themselves at risk. Had it really been a shooter there, they were there in the line of fire, making sure that our students were safe and that our staff were safe. So just a shout out. I mean, I just have to recognize their courage, their commitment, their dedication, and their interest in doing what they felt needed to be done to really ensure the safety of our entire student body and our staff. That takes great courage, integrity, and I think it speaks well of our administration. So.
Did they have they found any suspects? Or I wasn't in the country when that happened.
Yeah, I know that the FBI have been involved, and that's, I guess, all we're really allowed to share at this point. But I do know that the FBI has been very active in trying to find where the call originated from.
And it has been happening all over the country. And the calls are coming from out of the country.
Mr. Kempton, anything you want to add?
You hit it all.
Well, thank you. Just for being you, always putting the kids first. And that's something that you always do. So thank you.
One quick question. Alyssa mentioned she interviewed a sophomore, I think it was, who was in a class with a substitute teacher. I substitute teach, and I was in a lockdown in an open room with no locked door. But I didn't, anyway, my problem's not that. What are we doing to teach the subs here how to handle a lockdown? It's something we should be doing.
So we had this very conversation today at the administrative team meeting. And Angela has been working with Josh to develop some training, overall training for our substitutes, and we've done that before. And so we discussed today incorporating some Alice training into that. And so they're discussing how to go about developing that training. Mr. Kempton and Karen Moody, who are both trainers of Alice, would be actively involved in helping provide some of the training for them. Chad?
Talking about us training for substitutes through the adult education program.
Yeah, we'd be doing it through.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an old guy.
Mhm.
We should be looking at seniors to try to encourage it. I know they have senior opportunities, you know, your second life and learn some, we should have a booth there where we're encouraging seniors to come on and think about substituting. You don't have to be a youngster.
No.
And it's not hard. It's just dedicated, you know, so anyways, but I'd like to see us get more subs that way.
Say, at least at my level, Jim, the safety net for having substitutes there is that every kid in the building has been trained in Alice protocols.
Yes.
And they have been given permission and the authority to take action.
Outstanding.
So, and that I know in talking with a lot of my teachers and my staff, a lot of kids were very active in that lockdown process. They know what to do just as well as the staff. So if you have somebody in the building that doesn't know what they're doing, they're surrounded by people that do.
I had the same, well, I've been trained, not trained, but I've had the exposure to Alice that we've all had here. And I used that when I was in the lockdown situation. We had no idea what was going on for almost an hour, not quite. Anyways, and it's scary when you're sitting there and you know that door should be locked and it's not, and I have no keys. You know, I'm standing there holding a door shut and for 40 minutes before they notified me, because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Anyways, but we should be, and that's wonderful that the kids know that they can talk to the subs and let them know what they should be doing.
Yeah, and the substitutes all have keys to the building.
Yep.
They also have our emergency plan in their folder that they get with their rosters and any lesson plans that are there. So they do get a 3-ring binder for the day.
Good. Excellent.
I spoke to a student who was alone during the lockdown. They were in the printer room. And yeah, unfortunately, the door wasn't locked, so it was very scary for them. But fortunately, because of Alice training and everything, they knew to like block the door and take action and stuff. But just making sure that the doors are locked is a like really big thing, just in case a student is alone and stuff.
I just wanted to say really quickly that I think that everything was handled really, really well. I was at home and my husband had heard from a coworker on a call that something happened in Sanford. And while I was looking up Sanford, we got your call. And I don't even think he was halfway through the message and my husband was like out the door. Because when he was in high school, there was a incident and that was all he could think about. And he was very impressed with the way everything had been handled. And so we're really thankful that Gardner's on top of it at least.
Yes,
I
Diane.
was just gonna say, it sounds, from everything I've heard and contact with anyone, it was wonderful, and all what you said is so true. I did hear of a high school student who also handled it well and went home and was fine. And it wasn't until getting into the evening that his mom said she felt He needed to start talking about it. And I thought of those kids, the young woman who said she was down at the library, and in some of their groups, they started to talk in informal ways. They don't always need a professional, but something like that, just talking together must be helpful. Whoever thought our children would live through things like this, but that's another story.
Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Strategic plan update. Would you mind? Sorry, I missed the last meeting.
We're in the throes of the strategic planning listening sessions. We only have a couple student sessions left. One is tomorrow and one will be shortly thereafter. Our staff sessions, we're partway through. We'll be running a few more in 2 weeks. And we launched our communication to the stakeholder group of community members and business representatives as one group, and parents and guardians as another group yesterday. So that communication went out. Google Forms are attached for expressing interest in participating. We've had quite a bit of interest already in 24 hours, so that's exciting. So I'll be following up with people as I process the information coming in and setting up the rooms, the Zoom rooms, and making sure everyone knows what to do and when to do it. So I'm really looking forward to hearing how those sessions went. I won't, those are for 6 people in each virtual room and a trained facilitator. And they are recorded, and then that recording will be part of the organization we're working with to kind of understand what are the themes across each stakeholder group. So what's important, what's valuable, what's working in our communities, what's working in our schools, what would they like to see different or in the future to ensure success for everyone. And so once we conduct these sessions, hopefully by the holidays, at the end of the month, they'll be done. Then we will, and the organization works with our data. We as a administrative community and board will start to see the results in a report. And then we'll go from there in our strategic planning process.
Pat, I think the communication you sent was very well presented. I had a couple people ask me, and then I read your letter and I said, did you read the letter? And it clearly stated, like, she was like, is the board doing interviews? I'm like, no. And then I'm like, if you click the link, it's got all the info. So I think you laid it out really well, but for context, so I'm glad to hear a lot of people contributed, but it was well presented, so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Keep doing that, Alyssa.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Did you read the letter?
Did you actually click the link? I know, right?
Did you?
Click the
Every
link.
day.
Safe.
It's safe, it won't explode.
Right.
Thank you. Let's see, board chair. So in your packet, you will find committee assignments. And those are them, so please attend. And watch your emails every day, just to be sure that we're caught up and we know what's happening and what's going on, so that if a meeting is postponed due to illness or weather, nobody drives here unnecessarily. So keep an eye out. And resolutions, there were 10 resolutions that were adopted at the delegate assembly. Those also are in your packet. So familiarize yourself with those things. Those are things that we'll be working on with the legislative committee going forward in this session. So familiarize yourself, and if you have questions about them, just give me a jingle or send me an email. And you.
And me? Yeah. All right, I just have a few items. December work schedule. Next week, I will be out of the office on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's my annual December check on family, tell you about a state. But just so you are aware, yeah, I just have some family things going on right now, so I'm kind of in and out. I think I'm still getting everything done that I need to, but if you call, if you look for me, my days are a little off right now.
And you have time, so you don't need to feel bad about that. You have the time. So you have our
Yes,
support while
thank
you
you.
take the time.
Yes.
The finger right
So,
there.
right, so.
Trying not to
Yeah,
wag it much, but.
We'll all do
I
it at the
don't
same
take the
time.
days that I'm given. I hear the
And
message.
you have the time.
I hear the message. Central office holiday schedule, just wanted to let you know that the office will be closed to the public on Friday, December 23rd, Thursday, December 29th, and Friday, December 30th. People are taking some vacation time, and we just don't have enough coverage. So they'll be closed to the public on those 3 days.
Andrea too?
Yes,
will be taking time.
she is actually taking
Wag your
vacation.
finger again.
Yeah.
You have the time. You have the time. You can't get it back, so take some time. Everyone take some time.
So I also wanted to make sure that you were aware that there are a lot of events going on this weekend here in Gardner. And I hope that you get involved in those. But I wanted to bring one to your attention. The Festival of Lights. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that parade. It starts at 4:30 on Saturday night. MSAD11 will have a bus that will be fully decorated. And there will be staff members, myself included, walking with the bus, hopefully throwing up candy if I can buy some before then. And all decorated. So I want to put that out there. If there are board members who would like to join in the parade and walk with the bus, we would love to have you. The setup begins around 4:00. It's down at the foot of Winter Hill. The bus will be there somewhere. So dress warmly, wear lights and Christmas, whatever, and be prepared by if you'd like to join us. And we kind of put it out to administration, put it out to staff. We would love to have people join us.
And a rain date.
Yeah. The rain date is the 10th.
I think so.
And if it's the 10th, I won't tell
Yeah,
you, right?
somebody did. I hope it is secretly, because I'll be at the play, so I can't go, like, we can't go for Girl Scouts, I can't go for this. It's like, I know, it's a bummer. We haven't been able to go the last couple of years because of the middle school play. Because we used to do it.
Yeah, we
It
did,
is.
we did it for Girl Scouts last year, and
Yeah.
then Freya's dancing in it this year.
It's a lot of
It
fun,
is
so
a lot
we're
of
able
fun,
to do
yes.
it. So, all right, and I wanted to let you know Helen Thompson.
Oh, yeah. The problem child.
Redhead people are off the list tonight.
I think that term was used a couple times.
Yeah, Helen Thompson is our newest school in the district, and it has been riddled with issue after issue after issue.
It's so sad because it's a beautiful place.
So today, the entrance, the main entrance into the school, the ceiling has almost, it hasn't collapsed.
No, but it's
It's on the verge of collapse.
descended
It's having a
about
prolapse.
6 inches.
Oh, no. So, it is currently closed. We can't allow anyone in the entrance, for fear of it collapsing on someone. Gabe, was immediately up there from what I understand. He has hired a company to come look at it to tear down the sheetrock and everything. I've asked Gabe to bring in an engineer. I want to find out why. Is there a structural issue going on before we replace?
Sarah, is that where a
Ceiling?
roof was done or anything? Is there a water leak? No.
Are you talking the lobby outside the library?
Yes, right outside the library. Yeah, it's an area not quite the size of this room, but it has a softed ceiling that's all sheetrocked. And the way it's done, the roof trusses are above, so there's a large void of almost 4 feet. And everything's hung from the trusses to make the soffit area and to put the lights, the recessed lights in. So they just attached it to the bottom side of the trusses and hung everything down. We don't know why it's all of a sudden let go, whether it was the storm yesterday, the high winds. Not honestly sure yet, but the complete structure that's above there has detached from the trusses and has dropped down. So it's suspended kind of because it's all tied together with sheetrock, so that's what's pretty much holding it right now. So we went in and just so to make it safe, so we could just get in there and work under it, we put temporary walls up in the room on 3 sides. The 3 sides that had collapsed down. So we put temporary structure there. They're going in tomorrow morning and they're gonna do because the only access to the office is through that lobby.
Right.
So they're gonna do, if you can envision, if they're doing work on a street, they do kind of these tunnels and scaffolding. So that's what we're gonna do. Scaffolding, completely frame it in with wood structure around, plastic, and that'll be the tunnel from the main office to the hallway. I've had the electricians already in, they've disconnected power to the whole area. So yes, tomorrow morning, the sprinkler company's coming in because there's sprinkler pipes that are almost look like it's being held by the sprinkler pipes.
Oh, gosh.
So we don't want a flood on top of everything
Right,
else.
right, right.
So they're coming in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I meet the engineers at 7:30 to look at the structure pre-demo. The building just wanted a remodel, I guess. So
A facelift.
So
Facelift.
it could be a while.
well, we're hoping to immediately get the okay to demo and demo it out. So all of it's demoed out. And we won't do the fancy box ceiling like that was there. I would suggest we're gonna do drop ceilings, which is in the rest of the building. That way it's just suspended, it's lightweight, we'll do LED lights and it'll be a nice new ceiling.
In a way, it's a perfect time because we have a vacation coming up, so
Yeah, and they.
some of that might be able to get done.
I shout out to the contractors, they immediately jumped and I met them, 3 of them there this afternoon already. Just to look at it, to get things secured, safe enough to get staff out of the main office. We thought we might have to use the windows just to exit.
It was like the big dig. Yeah.
So we did.
She said no.
Katie left.
Well, Gabe, the only reason I asked, you might want to consider your fire drill escape plan. And if you have to alter those at all, if it's gonna be longer.
I did want to just say that we have closed all foot traffic through the main lobby. We'll continue that for tomorrow. We were able to just quickly reroute foot traffic for dismissal. And we'll have a better approach, a more thorough approach. Starting tomorrow at student arrival, we'll have people positioned because we'll be using obviously the other entrance. And so it's minor as far as that impact. Our kids are super flexible and our staff
They
can
probably think it's
respond.
great.
Like,
They probably do
yeah,
think
like,
it's
"Oh,
great."
We're just gonna always walk by the fish tank, cool. You know, kids today, our last couple of classes using the library got to go in through the secret entrance. So we can access a couple of instructional spaces that we need to. And because we have every staff member with a walkie and a phone in every instructional space, we're asking if you have a need in the office, call first, we'll come to you. And likewise for the nurse. So we can manage, and the response today was so quick. It
Yeah,
just
it was
quickly became apparent that it was a bigger deal than, you know, a couple of cracks and a gap in the ceiling. So that was, you know, it is what it is.
Sometimes
Yeah.
a cell phone photo does not
Yeah.
show the whole story.
Well,
Because it's such a small area. First, when we saw it, we're like, oh yeah, that's just a little separation.
how bad can it be?
It's just, we were thinking, it's usually with the storm yesterday, that's a water damage. The sheetrock got wet and that's what it is. And then immediately, I was at the bus office, I sent John Burns, the maintenance gentleman, to go look at it. And he called me, he said, you need to get out here now. So I left immediately, went out and we assessed and shut down the lobby immediately and said, yeah, we need to get everybody out, don't go through. So But yeah, you probably will get an influx of students wanting to go see the nurse tomorrow, just to see what's going on. Absolutely.
I don't know, this tunnel thing, sounds like the kids could really enjoy that.
Oh, yes.
I
Maybe we
know,
could decorate it.
little paper mache.
It's gonna be a maze, like, right?
Some tinsel and glitter.
Sure. Is this something that we should vote on right now for him to go ahead and have our okay to do what he needs to do, or do we need to vote?
No,
on
he
that?
just needs to fix it.
Okay.
No, we don't need to vote.
Already.
Yeah.
Just fix
We'll
it.
just look to Andrea.
Insurance has already been notified.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's all taken care of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that doesn't require a board vote.
Yep.
So I also wanted to let you know that, I heard from Chief Tillman this afternoon, and that, Officer Quintano is going to return on Monday.
Oh, good.
I don't know for how long,
Right.
you know, but he will be here hopefully at least through the month of December, and then we're really excited to have him back. He's just great, and such a good connection with students. It's
Yeah.
nice to have him in the buildings. And then I guess I would ask Nate, when does basketball season start?
Thursday.
December 9th.
December 9th?
December 9th is the
First
first playable
game?
date. Yep. They've already started preseason.
And tonight at the
but
middle
First
school?
playable
No,
date
next
in
Thursday.
the
Next
regular season is December
Right.
9th. Yes.
All right,
Nice.
so be on the lookout for those notices,
Mhm.
right? That's what I have for the whole group.
Great. Anything anyone else wants to add? We won't be together before we go on a holiday break, so thank you all. I don't really think Helen Thompson is a problem child. I apologize.
But that building
But that
has-
building just has so many
Yeah.
issues.
There's been a lot
It's
of
crazy. So thank you for continuing to smile. And Gabe, thank you for being so quick to always be there. And thank you all for all that you do. I don't know what we would do without all of you, so thank you and have a great holiday and take your time. You have the time, please use it.
Thank you all. And we do have a very brief executive session, so Alyssa, you do not stay for executive session.
And you don't either. Say hi to your mom.
Oh, I will.
And tell her she can always make me fried dough bites. So Thanksgiving was a bust and Christmas is gonna be a bust.
Oh, thanks.
And my mom and I don't know what we're doing.
Who's in Idaho? Will they bring
My
me,
sister.
does she want to bring to pick up my dog? You want to get us, want to get it to
Wow, that's random.
I know it's random. I know. Lives there and she has the dog, and I'm like,
It was
you're
really
gonna come home
awesome.
to your family for Christmas, bring me